Thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate it. We've got together some folks from our partner community here today to talk to us a little bit about where our industry is headed, and more importantly, how their experience has been in the conversational AI space as partners to technology vendors like ourselves and others. So thank you very much for coming on. Why don't we start with a brief round of introductions? So I'll just pass the mic around.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Darren Henry. I've got a really nice photograph that's got Evident plastered across it, so apologies for that. I'm the Global Head of Intelligence and Optimization at Evident, so I do anything from big data analytics that gives me the insights, and then on the other side of the fence, it's doing something with those, and conversational AI sits within my portfolio.
Fantastic. Hi everyone. My name is Sid Mukherjee. I'm the one with the colorful tiles in the profile picture. I was debating whether it's professional enough for LinkedIn or should I keep it for Facebook, but anyway, I went with it. I am part of a company called Teleperformance. It's the world's largest customer experience BPO. So think of us as the disrupted party in this whole AI disruption that's happening. But happy to be here as with our partners Kore.ai, and looking forward to the conversation today.
Hello, this is Alejandro Castrejón. I'm from the SmartForce. I am the CEO. We started as an RPA services company 4 years ago. And then we decided to also include Kore.ai within our portfolio because it makes sense with the kind of services we are providing. We basically serve Latin American countries, Spanish speaking, and also some of the market in the US for Spanish speaking customers.
And I'm Wiley Oliver. I'm VP over our at NTT Data for AI and automation enablement. So I'm really focused in on how do we take, a generic, version of AI, different things, and then make it into a multi-tenant solution so it can get it into our client environment. So constantly working on how we figure out the architecture between our platform and our client's platform and make it all work.
Thank you all for joining us here. We really appreciate it. So I guess to get ourselves started, you guys have attended some of the sessions in the morning. The analysts have been presenting, so you've got an idea of what's happening in the landscape. But each one of you has a very different business, how you go to market, how you're driving your commercials today. In your landscape over the last 12 months, what has happened to conversational AI and generative AI? Would you be able to share a few things around that?
Yeah, for us, there was a lot of hype in, sort of start of last year with regards to sort of what Gen AI was. Everyone's thought they could actually go through and do something and sort of have a sort of go-to-market product within 4 weeks, and sadly they were wrong and it wasn't really well thought out. So for us, it's all about currently, it's actually just how we use the technology to sort of deliver the experiences that we now are able to do that previously we weren't able to do. So everyone's been talking about omni-channel for at least 15 years. We've actually now got the technology to do it. So for us, it's about getting people to think about things differently in terms of how they design the experiences, and then sort of do the application through platforms such as Kore.ai.
Slightly tangential direction, yeah. As a BPO, like I mentioned, Teleperformance is the world's largest customer experience BPO. We have 500,000 agents, so we do believe in the role of humans in this AI world as well. I should have mentioned in my intro as well that I was Chief Digital Officer at TP until a couple of months ago, and now I'm responsible for the digital service line. But as the CDO, I was the disruptor in chief in our BPO organization. And we all understand all the different technology waves that we've seen because TP has been in the business for more than 45 years. We've seen a lot of disruption over the years, right? In the early days of telephony-based customer service, we saw the advent of IVRs. Now we are seeing more self-service, chatbots, conversational AI. With Gen AI, things keep getting better and better. So I think most of our clients, see the need to innovate at a fast pace, especially now with the possibilities with generative AI. There's so many different directions in which this could go. As TP, we don't want to sit and watch and be the disrupted party. We want to innovate along with our partners like Kore.ai and along with our clients who give us the remit. Yes, on GenAI, like we heard the Gartner analyst speak this morning, there's still a lot of hype, right? It's still early days. So I like his words, which I also use a lot, which is cautious optimism. We operate in that realm of cautious optimism. We want to do and make our agents and our workforce super productive with using AI for agent assist. We don't believe in the doomsday scenario of AI taking away all human jobs. We believe as TP that in the eventual final scenario, there will be a role for humans, there will be a role for AI, and the really successful service organizations will be the ones that blend AI into their services offering. And that's what we try and achieve always, a balance between high tech and high touch. So that's our go-to-market, if you may.
Thank you. It's funny because I don't know what you have seen, but I get to some customers, and when you are offering Kore.ai, it says, but I can do that with ChatGPT. And you say, no, you can't do that. You cannot automate your tasks. You cannot integrate with your systems. You cannot open your company to ChatGPT. So you find several levels of literacy in the customers, from the customers that know a lot of Gen AI and those that think that ChatGPT is Gen AI and that's the only thing that you can find. So part of the challenge that I see we are all facing is that we need to get this education and this literacy to the market to understand how they can better use all these tools that are now available. How can the Gen AI can be introduced to what in the past was considered to be human decisions? Because now, including the Gen AI component within processes of automating processes or including Kore.ai with working together with the Gen AI, you are able to automate some of of what was considered a human judgment, because you can get to a big base of knowledge and you can gather this knowledge in order to define where the process has to go or what decision the process has to follow, when in the past you have to create specifically the trees of decision using ifs, several ifs, for being able to solve business problems. And now you can solve these business problems using a lot of Gen AI solutions that are in the market. But this is a big challenge for us to make the customers understand how they can introduce this in their business, and how this can solve real business problems that they are currently having.
So for me, the last year, the biggest change that I've seen really happened probably about maybe 5 months ago, 6 months at the top, and that is went from even internal to our company, CISO, blocking .ai out of the company, period. Nothing could. I mean, it was breaking things that weren't really Gen AI even. But that kind of changing, and quickly behind it, I've really seen like our whole client base. So if I'm talking to CISOs, CTOs at all of our different clients, they're now open, they're hungry for AI. They need a win for AI, just to say they have that at their business. So that's probably the biggest change I've seen in the last years. Now everybody knows they need it, they want it, quantifying the value, agreeing on a use case that's going to get that value and measure it is still probably the hardest challenge. Anything kind of task-based, we can kind of get through those. But when we're generating content, changing content, doing partial components of these steps within a workflow, it gets really hard to measure. And everybody in this new world, very competitive, is looking at margins, cost base, all these things, and then trying to show you got to take that leap of faith that today it may be a little behind, or it may be a break-even type scenario. Once it's all stood up, you've invested, you kind of went there, but it's that next year, it's that 6 months later, once that's there and it's in place. And we have some of our clients that were early adopters that it was hard to get them to agree to that. But now we're moving on to the next phase with them, and the value's starting to come real quick. And partnering with Kore.ai, we started out first with the agent assist component, and then quickly behind that started bringing real end-to-end workflow scenarios in using AI. And now we're starting to introduce in all the Gen AI into the platform. And we definitely have our challenges in every instance that we deploy in our client environments. There's a lot of challenges getting through the security aspects of that, proving where data sits, where it's resting, where it went, and going across all of the verticals from, commercial industries and airlines all the way to banking to healthcare and health plan, all these things. Everyone has its challenges, but partnering with the guys, we've been working through it, changing the models, what we're using, getting very specific ones by client, and then trying to get their, a company, Acuum even trained within this so everybody understands the context to get there. It's really changing, but it's going so fast. But a year ago, it would have been almost impossible, but now everybody's really opening up, and it's events like this where we can communicate more, people starting to really understand. I think it's going to help us even move even faster next year.
Firstly, thank you all for sharing your views. Really appreciate that. And the positive sentiment that you've extended towards being our partners, so much appreciated. But while you're just picking up where you left off, right? CSOs are now opening up. Businesses and CDOs want to show that there is a win that they want to deliver, that they're doing something with AI. Where's that win going to come from for all of you? Or where can our partners expect to hunt for that win over the next 12 to 24 months? Because whilst conversational AI was kind of very CX focused over the last few years, ChatGPT has made us all experts, right? And it's blown the use cases across the board for anything that you can think of and imagine. So how do you rationalize that? Where do you see which areas progressing most in businesses that are going to be biggest focus areas?
Well, I think there's a lot of challenges around that. And I was just before I came here, I was talking again with our presenter this morning from Gardner, and we were eating lunch, and we were kind of talking about a few things, because 6 months ago we had a big thing with them, and we kind of did a review, and we were going, and we were really talking about just use case management, and finally finding those right use cases is critical. We've created a CEO around it and within our company, and we have thousands of use cases, and we're trying to, sort, how do I get down to 100? How do I get down to 30? How do I get to 1 that really makes sense by business unit and industry, and go in there? So I think as far as value goes, you have to start simple, and this is where it gets complicated. And I was sharing last night with somebody, I think from Cigna, we were talking about this. You got to start small. You got to have this investment in world of, each business unit, your account and clients, they're looking for an in-year win, something that improves margin, drives revenue. And some of this stuff, you got to start small, get that right use case, that right first win in, start showing that, and then kind of move on to the next. So I think it's really about making sure you don't bite off more than you can chew kind of scenario, and keeping those use cases simple to start and go. And so I think the value for me, like where we're going right now, I'm very focused in the workplace side, and specifically around IT service desk and all that. That's where I'm going. I got health. I'm working on what we're going to do with Health Assist too, but very focusing on the right. So I'm looking for the best wins we can do there to reduce the HT. Anytime I'm reducing HT, it's a better client experience just immediately, because it's a shorter call. And so I think the right use cases, and then working with the right people within the team for the adoption side, even though I want to talk about technically how it's all put together and what we do, and that's the fun part of it. But the real thing too behind all of that is that adoption side of it. And don't forget about those things. And I think you'll get to value.
Well, what we have seen, we have worked a lot with the insurance companies, and where we have seen the value are on those processes that serve customers on a 24-hour basis. One of the projects we recently delivered is the leading company in car insurance in Mexico. They normally serve their customers on office hours. And now that we have deployed Kore.ai and they put it to work 24 hours, they have found that a lot of their customers are paying the renewal of the insurance policy when they get out of the office. And guess what? That's not on the office working hours. They have payments at 3 a.m. o'clock, they have at 10 p.m. And they're amazed because once we deploy the bot to start working on 24 hours, initially they only deploy it working also on office hours to measure how the results were improving on the renewal of the policies. But once we deploy it on a 24-hour basis, the first month we got 38% of the renewals of the payment renewals out of the office hours, and on the second month, almost 50% of the payments were out of the office hours. So this means and makes a lot of sense because most of us are involved in our daily jobs, in our offices, visiting customers or doing whatever we need to do, and we remember that we need to pay the renewal of the policy of the car. When we get to our home, when your wife normally told you, did you renew the policy of the car? And they say, oh no, but I can do it now. And guess what? You call, and if they don't have Core, they are going to ask you to call on working hours for the next day. So I think that this kind of cases make a lot of sense. You need to find them, and the customer was also on a surprise of these figures because they had never realized that this is a problem their customers are having, and this is difficult to measure because this is going to translate into a customer satisfaction that you can pay your policy on any time of the day, and this will be making you more being toward trying to make business with this kind of customers, like or compared to a company where you can only be supported on office hours. So what I always say, make your customers make to your customers to be easy to make business with you, and if you make them to make them easy to do business with you, and this is part of having a 24-hour services. If you make this, they are going to be more likely to continue doing business with you.
Yeah, I mean, building on top of what Wiley was saying earlier and what we heard from Gartner this morning as well. And like any other smart consultant, we have our 2x2 frameworks and stuff, right? So on the x-axis or on the y-axis, it's probably the speed to deploy, and on the x-axis, the ROI or the impact that you can expect to get. I think that's how we end up prioritizing various use cases when it comes to implementation, because with Gen AI, the possibilities are immense, right? Raj talked about some earlier, as did several of the speakers. But with TP, we have the advantage, working with our existing clients, because we manage customer service for them across many different channels, right? So when our CX consultants on a typical consulting study, they'd look at the entire volume of customer interactions, and they'd look at, which are the ones which are simple and easy to automate. So, they can almost be eliminated through self-service. Which are the ones that can be deflected to a chatbot, and the initial sort of disposition can be with a chatbot and the response. And then if a human needs to be involved, it goes to a human agent. And then also, how do you use the AI more and more from an agent assist point of view, right? So that's how we look at our framework also when it comes to customer experience strategy, with eliminate, deflect, automate, and optimize kind of a framework, and try and always, because with customer service, our clients are always keen to keep on raising the bar as far as customer experience is concerned, but at the same time reduce the cost to serve. So that's the challenge, and I think that's where AI fits in very well. With GenAI, we've got several use cases, again, with respect to interaction summarization, knowledge base optimization, Copilot, working with partners like Core. But yes, I think we are still getting started, and I think there's still a lot of education involved, not just within the company, but also with our clients, to be able to make the right choices and have the right priority and the right roadmap.
I don't really have to say any more. No, I'm just. I guess the one thing in terms of what we've heard now and what we've seen and listened to already within sort of the Core conference is about just really understanding what the technology now enables, right? So the areas of opportunity that we see do start with the simple stuff, but it's flipping the dial. Chatbots, voice bots previously were just knowledge. You know, what we're now seeing and now are able to do is actually make it transactional. So we will start with the simple transactions. You know, why can't we automate them? Why can't we transfer? Why can't we renew the insurance automatically? Because Core enables us to then kick it into the back end and kick it into RPA or use Pega or kick into sort of banking platforms in particular. So for us, where we're going with a lot of this is something that I started when I was at a bank in 2013, where I did a market assessment around the first chatbot for that bank, and I said it needed to be transactional. The demand was there now to have it. Now what we've got is the ability to do it, you know, with Core, either with the out-of-the-box models or our own intellectual property. So for us, it's very much making quite a big dent into transactional conversational AI and turning it and flipping it perception of the marketplace from customers and employees that actually the bots that we have now are better than they've ever been. And, you know, by doing the simple transactions first, you get that adoption curve that you need in order to do the more complex stuff over time. So for us, it's about a transactional service now as opposed to an information service.
Whilst I wholeheartedly agree with everything that you guys are saying, I think the only thing I would add is, because generative AI has been so disruptive in all our lives, right? But where it's been most disruptive is in fundamentally changing everything we experience, whether that is a transaction, interaction, real life experiences, blurring of digital and real experiences. And to me, I think that's a great opportunity for everybody in this room in terms of what more we can do with our collective customers, right? You can start really small, but you can go way, way beyond compared to what they can imagine, because the possibilities are so much. And you've seen our own platform evolve, right, over the last few years with all the different use cases and products that we've been building. It's just showing you the art of possible in what the clients can deliver for us. So couldn't agree with all of the views there. But I want to touch something that you raised, Sid, which is there is still a lot of education and awareness that needs to be done. It needs to be done for this community here, for all of us, but equally for our customers and clients that we are talking to. So how are you all doing that today? Are there certain strategies that you're following that you could share with the group that they can follow?
Yeah, I mean, events like this obviously helps. There's a lot of information out there on the internet today on generative AI, and every week something new happens, right? So you have to keep up with that pace of knowledge. I think as far as internal education is concerned, we have town halls, we have various ways to equip our own operations staff, our sales folks, the entire, solutioning community. Everyone needs to be abreast with the latest developments, the latest product releases. But it's also very easy to get distracted because there's so many different partners that one could work with, right? Every week there's a new innovative startup, and I'm based in Silicon Valley, so I keep hearing pitches every week, and there's so many conversational AI vendors today. I mean, it's mind-boggling. The reason we chose Core as our preferred partner is because they've been at it for the last 10 years. It's already a scaled play, and being the largest customer experience BPO in the world, we end up serving thousands of clients in more than 400 languages. So if we have to build a scaled conversational AI solution that is multilingual, that is scalable, secure, and all of those necessary things, there are only a handful of choices. And Core, as Gartner would testify and as other analysts would testify, sits right at the top right in that space. So I think for us, like I said earlier, perhaps as well, we are still at an early journey in our relationship with Core. We work with some other partners as well, but I think Core is the one that we are banking on to scale even further. And yeah, let's see where this takes us. I think there's lots of learning, a lot of education, both internally as well as externally with our clients. With our clients, we have similar conferences around the world because, again, we have clients all over the world. We get into, with clients that show an active interest, we get into more, detailed sort of solutioning workshops. And several clients, we work with a lot of digital native clients as well, right? Who are well ahead of the curve compared to BPOs like us, and we learn from them as well. We learn what they are doing. Many of the large banking financial institutions are taking GenAI extremely seriously. They're investing in it. So there's a lot of learning out there from our clients as well. And we don't pretend to be experts. We are always looking to learn, co-innovate, both with the clients as well as with partners like yourselves.
Certainly feels like we're all back at school and learning continuously with this technology right now, so growing like crazy. How do you see all of this impacting like customer experience and the employee experience space over the next 5 years? Like, what's going to be the biggest change? Or if you were to describe it in a couple of simple sentences, what would that world look like in the next 5 years?
I think before I answer that, I think what we just need to do with the clients, and to your point about even our own internal teams, is get them to think outside, get them to stop thinking about how they've thought about this technology to date, and actually think about where do we start with this. And the starting point is actually, what is the experience that we want to do? So leading with insights and understanding is actually what's going to meet the person's need. And for us, where the technology is really going to sort of leverage us in the next sort of 5 years is I call it contextual relevance. And what I mean by that is, the way I would speak to Sahil might be different to the way I'll be speaking to you, Sid. And I think, where we see conversational AI platforms going in the future is adopting principles that you see in MarTech, which I cover as well, and having a conversation that will answer differently depending on what the situation is, who the person is, what is their persona in moment, what's their persona more generally, and just making sure that the virtual agent is speaking almost as if it was an agent. That's where I see it going, and in particular where I see it moving into is voice apps such as Amazon Alexa being the next channel that people are going to be sort of using. I think that's underutilized, and that's where the exciting things start to sort of come out.
Yeah, if I were a futurist trying to make a bold statement here, I'd say that my AI will speak to your AI in 5 years' time. There won't be any role for us humans. We'll probably be sitting on the couch watching Netflix or something. No, like I said earlier, we genuinely believe that AI will drive up human productivity. We genuinely believe in a future for humans. I don't think it's a doomsday at all. I think AI is going to make us super productive, and that's what economists are banking on. They're already, factoring in multiple levels of productivity, and the stock market's very optimistic we're seeing it with the Nvidia stock. But I think the ones that will be successful will be the ones that will be able to embed AI in their enterprise and scale it. Like you are offering the bot for every employee. I think many of the first movers are already moving in that direction. And universal agents, I think that's also definitely coming. More and more complex interactions. Initially, it's the transactional stuff, but more and more complex interactions also we'll see AI starting to get engaged in. So yes, I think it's about how do you blend it all together, and I think you hit the nail on the head because you have to look at it throughout the customer journey, but not necessarily from the start of the customer. Probably the start of the customer journey is when the customer is still in a pre-purchase mode, still evaluating your product, whether you are selling an LVMH bag or whether you're selling a credit card or whatever it is. They're evaluating various options, right? And the customer footprint is across so many different channels. They're interacting with your brands across, social media, the internet, apps, and so on and so forth. And it's about, how do you capture all of that data and really be able to build those personalized experiences, right? Do the one-to-one marketing upfront, and once you've sold the customer, then translate the similar sort of superb experience from a post-purchase point of view. So all the way from pre-purchase to post-purchase, how do you make those personalized customer journeys? I think with AI, the possibilities are absolutely immense.
Well, it's funny that we all work in the tech industry and we talk about generative AI, making it more efficient, making it more wise. But we sometimes forget that at the end, all of this we are doing is to serve human beings. So the technology at the end has to provide services to human beings, and we want to have better services. And what I see is that we need to get to a point where the generative AI is able to answer in a way that you cannot differentiate if you are talking to a human or to a bot. That this conversation became so natural and so human that you feel comfortable talking to a bot that is using generative AI, because we have seen, and this is a cultural thing, that some people when they hear that they are talking to a bot, they hang the phone, or even they ask to talk to an agent. And at the end, they skip all this work that we have done, all these algorithms, all this configuration, all this money that we have spent in making the technology to work. They end up trying to talk to a human agent instead of using the technology. So if we are able to in 3 or 4 or 5 years get to a point where it's difficult for us to differentiate if we are talking to a machine or to a human, that's where I see we are going to be having a real impact in what we really want to do. It's funny, I'd like to make sense of different levels, because here we're talking with CEOs, with CIOs, and people who has a level and has a lot of literacy in technology. Go downstairs to here in this floor. Go to the store, to the pantry store that is in there. There's a Colombian woman in there. Talk to her. Ask to her how she feels about the bots when the bot is answering. She complains. She asked me, "Why are you here for?" I was buying something, and I told her, I'm in a conference. We come to the Kore.ai, and what's Kore.ai? Bots that are supposed to automate contact center. Oh, they're so awful. They never. You are never able to communicate with them. They never answer what you are expecting to have. So we lose that perspective of what we want to achieve using the technology. So I think that's where we need to get. How we make the technology really feels in a human way, using all these Gen AI tools, so our customers feel comfortable talking to these bots, and they don't hang the call, or they don't ask to talk to an agent and skip all these investments in technology that our customers are doing.
So I agree with everything that's been said. There's not a lot more to say around it, but I do believe with our Gen X, young people that are in this whole world, I see in the next couple years of everything we're talking about all kind of happening. We've been fighting for years to get to omni-channel. It's just been, everybody's been trying to get there. But I think in a couple years from now, we're going to see a flip-flop. And our voice channel will be like what our email and digital channel is today. We're gonna see a flip-flop in that, and we're gonna see more and more of this next generation that don't. I mean, I know my son and his friends stand next to each other and text each other. They don't speak. They don't want to talk to a lot of people, whether it's a bot or anything. They want to they may use their voice to activate something on their device, or the future home computers and all the things, or the Alexa things that we were just commenting on. But it's going to be more of that, and they're going to look for that right answer, the right job, for something to be done for them, And it's going to take, like today, of us telling, "Hey Alexa, start the Roomba," to, "Hey, I need all of these things," or "I need this work done, I need these things." And I think it's going to be a new way of operating in our world without calling another human. I think humans are going to be behind this whole thing. I don't think it ever goes away. I think there's a real value in those things, but the mundane task type things, we'll get there, and it'll all happen more in a digital fashion than a voice fashion. And then you'll see the human side of it being very effective in driving the true value, the true sentiment behind everything, but the things that are not, that the sentiment doesn't matter and all this stuff in it will all be taken over by more of a digital channel.
So,
Wholeheartedly agree that I think we are all out there believing that what we've been selling for the last 15, 20 years is going to become a reality at some point. So thanks to the technology for that. But look, we're sellers, right? So we're going to stay a few steps ahead. So now we are absorbing all the grandeur visions of our clients and customers. But we have to make that a reality. This technology has to be delivered in some way, shape, or form. And all of you have had some experiences of delivering some of this technology for your clients or for internal consumption. What kind of advice can you guys share with the audience in the room just to understand how they can go about to deliver this successfully for their clients? Or if they're building a practice around it, what are the nuances that they should be aware of or pitfalls that they should stay away from? Just share your experiences on that.
Well, I think a few of the things we've touched on throughout this whole presentation and conversation we've been having. Like for me, I think some of those core things, like what I said at the beginning, we created like this COE for all things that have to do with intelligent automation and generative AI. And that's not only just from a use case perspective, but it's from a technology thing, from the 500, different vendors coming in with their things. How do you centralize it and get it out of all the business units? Because everybody's getting talked to today. Everybody's in. How do you get that kind of centralized and move so you're efficient and you're effective and you're strategic? And I think that's a key to it. When I was talking about simplification a little bit earlier, like for me, like I said, my main focus right now has been in the workplace, technical service desk, and go in there. Well, the number one call that comes in on technical service desk across any industry, anything, is password reset, account unlock, period. It's the hardest to do, too, as well. Like for me, it's easy to go to any one account and do that, but like I'm doing it across multiple accounts. Well, every account has different MFA processes. They use this. I just ran into another one in healthcare where all their devices are Google devices. Well, they don't communicate with Active Directory. They don't have this. So, but everywhere you go, it's kind of complex. So even though that's the number one call driver, I want to contain those. If I can contain those, that's the biggest value. But it's the hardest one to solve. Move to the ones where you can solve. Technology is going to catch up on some of these other ones to make it easier. Because today, if any of you work with Microsoft on that today, that's the number one I run into all the time. But if you're not inside of their tenant, you can't. There's no API to call and do this, and it's a big challenge, and that's a big part of my customer base. So where do I go? So what's that next use case? What's the thing? Find those quick wins, keep it simple to start, and then you work your way into those things.
Well, what we have done, and we have an additional challenge of most of the people that is in the room, that we serve Spanish-speaking customers. And initially, ASR and TTS were not as efficient on other languages than English. And what we're facing is that sometimes it's not recognizing what we have done in order to solve this situation. Is we are working with universities, and we are bringing people who is getting just recently from finishing their studies, and we're training them. We're investing in training these people. We're getting young people, and doing a lot of investment in developing the people to be able to learn and support our customers, and to create a strong base of people that is pre-trained and has the enough knowledge to be supporting, and we send them to have seminars. I mean, nobody comes out of the university knowing how to use Core. So we have to invest a lot in getting these people to be trained on how to use Core and having a people that is strong to support our customers. And the other thing is that we try to be humble. This means the customer always is going to know their business better than we do. So we need to listen to what the challenge they are having and the customers that they are serving to be able to come with the knowledge we have gathered in this training and understand their business challenge to be able to provide them specific solutions for what they are facing.
Yeah, I mean, in order to build out a conversational AI practice in a BPO organization, it's not just about having the right set of technical skill sets in a COE kind of environment, not just about working with your InfoSec to put the right guardrails in place. It also involves a complete business model shift, because traditionally our business model has been about human labor. Now with more and more AI in the mix, we need to blend a core AI into our value proposition, and therefore there are implications from a solution selling point of view. There are implications from a pricing point of view. So it involves an education across the entire organization in terms of how you go about doing it, how do you go about pricing per interaction as opposed to per FTE or full-time equivalent. I think that's really a business model shift that we are seeing at the moment. And as far as investing in the skills is concerned, that's where my team comes in as TP Infinity. We combine our consulting, data, and tech and marketing skill sets into one consultative organization, which then partners with the BPO arm around the world and all our clients to build out a conversational AI solution, to build out more and more POCs and POVs for our clients, which as they become successful, then you end up scaling. So yeah, we are taking baby steps. I think it's still a long way for us to really go after this opportunity, but there's lots to learn as well from everyone around.
I guess the only thing I'd add to what people have said is just with regards to delivering it, you need to have an end-to-end sort of a team. So analysts, insight, conversation strategists, delivery, development, etc. But I think the one aspect that I find sometimes gets overlooked that can stop the success of the deployments is organizational change management, both internally, but also externally as well. So internally, you need to do all the education that you've talked about, make people aware, get them to think about that in a product phasing perspective. And then externally with the client, if it's B2C, they really, really need to communicate, because, we can't avoid the fact that chatbots in the times gone by have created a bad experience for people that don't really want to use them that much. So they press star, 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 or hash, 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 or want to speak to an agent. So the organizational change management around communicating to customers that this is new technology, it's going to benefit you. You start off easy, you bring them into sort of easier transactions, you build up the confidence. That aspect, a lot of the time gets forgotten about, that actually it absolutely is critical to the project success. So I would say in all of our partnering with Kore.ai, just getting an OCM team in place that's really good at communicating internally and externally to customers is going to be really important for the projects.
Thank you all. That was very helpful. I guess one final question from me today. In the spirit of continuous learning as well as being transparent so that this whole community can benefit, what feedback do you have for Kore.ai to be better partners with you guys?
How much time do we have?
30 seconds time to go.
Yeah.
Running out.
I was going to say who's going to be first to make pricing. Probably no, exclude pricing. I think the big thing in all of this is actually we're fighting against every companies now. An AI company, you've got the big hyperscalers. So anything I'd do is actually sort of amplify what you're already doing in terms of your research and development. Sort of I feel proud speaking that to people that I'm a partner of you. Sometimes we as a consultancy don't like naming the vendors because we want to sort of play it safe, whereas I'm the opposite. I'm like, no, we're saying it's core because it gives us market presence. So for me, it's just amplifying your research and development, your product innovation.
No, for me also, I don't think there's much that I can, ask you to change. I think for me, the man in the corner there, Karim, is my one-stop, one throat to choke if there's anything that I need from a core point of view. And he's been of immense support. He's ex-Teleperformance himself, so he knows the organization very well. He goes and reaches out to all my colleagues, even without me knowing it. But no, it's been a great journey with Core. Like I said, you're a global scalable partner of choice for us. There aren't too many conversational AI products out there that are at the same scale, and the level of responsiveness we get from you, is really great. So we are really excited and optimistic about this partnership going forward.
Well, the problem for us is that we want to get into projects that are really complex, and that is making us to also face challenges. But I mean, with every software vendor, you are going to face these challenges. And what we have found in Core is the support we are looking, the executive involvement, and they are always trying to see how they can help us to face these challenges to be able to support our customers in their business objectives.
Again, I agree with everything that's been said to date on this. I think the one thing maybe is, as we move around, most of the team, most of the people here, we're talking about global things, and that's probably, when we're going to get into needing more tenants out globally, you know what I mean? We're in the U.S. and Germany, but I'm going to need more than just those two. So that's if I hadn't asked, that's probably it. But from a partnership perspective, it's one of the reasons that as all these other vendors are coming, and we're talking about conversational AI and now an agent assist, and some of these companies kind of coming, but the executive sponsorship and partnership that we have with Core, out of all of the newer technology companies that's come along, has been the best. I can say for NTT, it's been one of our best partnerships. It's very collaborative. Every single challenge we've ran into, it wasn't something I had to go, hey, I purchased this software and now I need to go solve and figure out how to go. But they came to the table and helped us solve, how do we get to the next step? What is next? Because it's been a journey. It's been an adventure of figuring this out it's almost a 2-year now partnership, and it's evolved from where it was, in month 6 when we were kind of standing it up to what we have now is night and day different. Actually, we kind of rebuilt the whole thing just probably 4 or 5 months ago to work in a different way. So that partnership's been very close. Every need that we've had has been answered, and there was somebody, if they weren't sitting next to me, we were on video conferences every day. How do we get there and what to do? So that partnership really took us there, and it's the reason why I'm here and wanted to be part of this, is because it's a very close collaborative thing. But the tenant thing will become our next problem.
On that notion, I'd like to say, I know Raj always says everything starts with the customer and you got to be customer centric, but for all of you in the room, and for me personally representing Core and the team in the room, for us, you're our customers. Our partners are our customers. You're our lifeline. So everything starts with you, and we're going to give 100% commitment on improving each day. Bear with us if you go through the pains. We are all in this together, and we really appreciate the trust that you've put in us, right? So thank you very much for that. Let's have a big round of applause for the panelists.